Hello, Christina Giordano here, and I am the founder of Sold, your go-to resource for soulful entrepreneurship. And my philosophy is this: people can no longer be sold to, they must be sold to. This is selling with soul. This is marketing with integrity, where you no longer need to compromise your authenticity, your boundaries, your uniqueness, your wholeness. This is messaging in a way that actually reflects the transformation you provide, because it's your story, your transformation, and nobody can compete with that. This is manifesting in a way that honors your fullness, all of the pieces and parts of you that are meant to be divinely resourced. Join me every Wednesday to learn all of this and more. Let's jump right in. Today's episode is called "In the New Paradigm of Manifesting, the Expansive Version of You Leads." I'm really excited to talk about this episode. It's kind of a piggyback off of a chapter that I just added to the Money Methods. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Money Methods is one of my signature programs. It features the manifesting methods, which alongside the marketing methods, which is my other signature sequence of methods. And it essentially helps you become the version of you who wins. It helps you become the version of you who can show up, be seen, and shine with nothing but the essence that is you. While the marketing methods help you get to that deeper truth so that, again, you can show up, be seen, and shine with nothing but the essence that is you. All of my methods are essentially about working with your essence in a way that helps you build a soul-aligned business that makes you feel empowered at the same time, that is essentially with your soul leading the way. And so I recently added a chapter to the Money Methods, and it's a conclusion chapter. And the reason why I added it is because, more than anything, I want the Money Methods to land. And a lot of the work of the Money Methods, there's practical applications throughout which allow you to take these energetic concepts and frameworks and apply them to your reality. So there's kind of inherent practicality throughout. But the last chapter that I just added is called Spirit Leads, Mind Follows, Body Moves. And the reason why I called it that is because that's how you move in coherence. You get divine inspiration, your mind follows the lead, and the body moves. One cannot happen without the other. That is how you take soul-aligned action. And so I'm kind of trying to move right now, making it look ethereal, essentially, as you're building a soul-aligned business. And so I added that chapter because that's essentially what I'm moving through right now. And I'm saying that I want the Money Methods to land because I know how easy it is to get sucked into a manifestation matrix, as I like to call them. And it's too far out there. It's like too much energetic concepts that you're not able to apply into your physical reality. The way that you apply these concepts into your physical reality is by being very attuned to the sensations within your body. And you can really only understand this once you go through the process of the Money Methods, once you get more attuned to your energy, to how you think, to your triggers. And the Money Methods themselves, I like to call it the Great Shed. What you're doing is you're shedding everything and anything that isn't you. And once you do that, once you shed all of the pain, programming, and patterns that aren't you, more of you starts to shine through. And so I added that chapter as a way to kind of conclude, this is how you move forward. You take that ethereal climb out of hell or wherever you might be currently, because you're finally in coherence. Because you're finally in coherence with your mind, body, and spirit. You're no longer scattered in your energy. You're in integrity. And so today, I'm going to be talking about what I call the contracted version of yourself versus the expansive version of yourself. And so the expansive version of yourself moves just like what I explained. You move on purpose. You move on assignment. You move with a mission. And you do that with enthusiasm and with an internal knowing that no matter what happens, no matter what life throws at you, you can handle it because you've done the inner transformation that has built your capacity for more. And so the expansive version of you is also rooted in unconditional love. And a lot of the Money Methods talks about releasing a toxic, codependent form of love and understanding an infinite, unconditional, healthy form of love. And once we understand that, that is our new foundation. We're no longer in survival mode, and we're no longer a contracted version of ourselves. So the contracted version of you is moving from outdated pain patterns and programming. This is the version of you that keeps you stuck and stagnant and in survival mode, and is essentially the version that has manifested the struggle and strife that you are currently experiencing. And so how do we get to the attuned version that we want? And what we want, of course, is the most expansive version of ourselves. And so this week's episode of Sold, I'm going to be diving into 4 main beliefs that I had to fully embrace in order to make this inner transformation happen. Now, of course, the money methods was an integral part of that transformation, but these 4 beliefs are they represent the concepts that I took away with me that has allowed for my outer reality to reflect my inner reality. So, number 1, the shed is required. Now, again, I kind of already explained this, but this is where we are releasing old pain patterns and programming. This is all of the things that keep you stuck, because the more you shed, the more authentic you become. So think of yourself as like this beautiful light. And because life is simply life, you have all of these kind of like murky, shadowy elements of you. And it could be a result of trauma, of attachment styles, of toxic codependent love, of wounded divine feminine and masculine balance within you. It could be a whole bunch of things, and the money methods addresses all of those things. But once you shed all of these things and heal it and kind of not cast it away, but transmute it, you're able to shine your light brighter. Your essence becomes more clear, it becomes more radiant, because as you're removing everything that isn't you, you're becoming more of you. And so I mentioned previously that the manifesting methods are the way that I was able to do this. It was essentially the inner work that changed my outer world. And I'll run through the methods real quick so that you have an idea of what they entail. But the debit method, which is the first one, and I will say that I am the acronym queen. And so all of these methods are acronyms. My marketing methods are acronyms, and my manifesting methods are acronyms. And that's because I want people to apply the concepts to their own lives and work with them for themselves. They're not necessarily roadmaps of my way. They help you figure out your way. So anyway, the debit method is a method that really takes you into like that shedding piece. It allows you to look at all of the things that drain you, that cause you to leak, that hold you back. So, I mean, for me, oh gosh, there are so many beliefs, so many coping mechanisms that would keep me stuck and stagnant and in survival. And so shedding all of that allowed me to release a lot of the things that weren't really me, and anything that that was truly not a part of me was released. And by released, I mean loved. And so the credit method, it helps you pour back into yourself. This is kind of the method that allows you to like fill yourself up to the point of fullness by determining what you enjoy, what helps you to enjoy life and to receive. And so basically what you're doing is you're looking at how you balance giving and receiving through these methods. And if the debit method is showing you where you give too much, where you're draining, where you're leaking, the credit method is helping you restore that, helping you fill yourself back up. And finally, the rose method helps you expand more of yourself so that you're in a state of overflow. So I like to think about it like this. Imagine yourself as a vessel, a sacred vessel, and you have some cracks, you have some leaks. And so you're healing those cracks and those leaks so that you can hold everything that you want to hold. And as you pour into yourself, as you allow life to pour into you, as you become your own source, your own well of resource, you have the ability to get to a point of overflow. And then once you get to the point of overflow, that's when you can expand your reach. So a lot of people, when they're talking about like looking at yourself as a container and like talking about holding more money, you're not actually expanding your own vessel. That's like physically impossible. But what you're doing is you're expanding the pool of overflow. So imagine the water flowing all over you, over the sides of your vessel, and so then it can expand outward into all directions. And so the rose method essentially helps you to expand more of yourself so that you can be in the state of overflow and so that you can have more and hold more in your field. Hope that makes sense. So to learn more about the membership featuring the money methods, head to the Get Guidance page of my website. But going back to number one, this is why the shed is required. You can't get to a point of overflow until you can hold until you patch up those leaks, until you can hold everything that you want to hold. Number two, you must become incredibly aware of the contracted version of you, the version of you that holds you back, and you all know what this version of you is. So the contracted version of me loves to stay stuck. The contracted version of me loves to believe that she can't do it. She loves to believe that she'll never figure it out, that what she's currently doing is enough, even if it feels like I'm spinning my wheels and doing more of what's not working. I mean, hello, the definition of insanity is literally doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. I finally understood that. And so I'm not insane anymore. But the contracted version of me wanted to stay there. She wanted to stay kind of insane. And so realizing that the contracted version of me moves with fear and lack and scarcity, she struggles to understand her value and her worth. She struggles with codependency and regulating herself. She gets angry and doesn't know what to do with it. She performs in order to be accepted, and she believes that pushing and forcing her way through life is the right way to move. Obviously, we all know that's not true. So the biggest problem that I have with the current manifestation matrix is that it just gives you more to do, more to add on to yourself. But you're still you. You're still the version of you who is in this contracted state of moving from fear and scarcity. And all you're doing is tricking yourself into thinking things, or giving yourself a new ritual that's supposed to magnetize you, or, all of the things that these matrices essentially just add on to you. You can't just pour into a vessel that's constantly leaking. You're not going to hold anything. So you need to allow the inner transformation to happen in order for the outer transformation to happen. And that's essentially, that means releasing the contracted version of you so that the newer version of you can come through. And what's the newer version of you? It's the expansive version of you. This is the version of you that moves on purpose, with precision and with enthusiasm, and with an internal knowing that is fueled by self-love. A lot of the money methods, at least throughout, is about love. It's about understanding what infinite unconditional love is, not only so that you can understand your relationship with the divine, because if you're listening to this right now, you have a calling and you have a higher purpose that was bestowed upon you by a higher power. And so no matter what, you don't have a choice. You have to work with your calling alongside a higher power. So what does that mean? You have a commitment to the divine. And I don't care what you believe in. You can believe that the divine is love. You can believe that the divine is God. You can believe that the divine is the universe. Whatever you want to believe in, you have a commitment with a higher power that is outside of you, because also that higher power is within you. It is within you too. And so that higher power, let's call it unconditional love. If unconditional love is the power that's working around you, it's got to be working within you too. So by becoming more attuned to a healthy, unconditional form of love, you're allowing your foundation to be rooted in that. And once that becomes your new foundation, you can become the most expansive version of you. You don't move from a contracted state when you know how expansive you are, when you know what you're capable of, when you know that you were chosen for this, when you know that there is something deeper within you that needs to be expressed in this world, that is meant to be expressed in this world, and it all comes from within you. Number 3, you've got a stronger awareness around your baseline frequency, meaning the ultimate truths you believe about yourself. So if the most expansive version of you, imagine that's your baseline. That's your new baseline when you go through the money methods. And think about the ultimate truths that you now have about yourself once you have that baseline frequency. So some questions you can ask yourself are you in a losing game against yourself and the world, or are you winning? What do you believe to be true about yourself, your life, and the way that life interacts with you? What do you believe is possible for yourself? So these questions will get you to understanding your current state of freedom, because this is what I want you to understand about your essence. It has nothing to do with good and bad. It has nothing to do with right and wrong. It's all about free. How free are you from the BS of the world that makes you think that your worth is dependent on anything but your own heart? How free are you from that? Because when you're moving freely, you're moving alongside the divine. You're moving alongside your own internal power and the power around you. And when you move that way, when you move like you're truly free, you see more possibility. And so as you become more attuned to your essence, as you lighten yourself, as you make yourself lighter, as your frequency gets higher, as you kind of raise your vibe from the work of the Great Shed, then you're able to see more possibilities. You're able to see things from a higher perspective. You're able to see more opportunities, more possibilities, more resources, more all the things. And then you can gain on them. You can move on them. So you can only see bigger and better opportunities when your baseline frequency is in a place where it can see such things. So it has to be possible for you to see it first. And the only way to really do that is to release everything that holds you back, is to release that contracted version of you so that you can become the most expansive version of you. And I'll give you a little example. Imagine one person experiences moodiness, frustration, irritability within themselves. And then imagine the second person experiences excitement, compassion, and joy within themselves. Now, the first person obviously most likely dwells in a victim mentality, and they are probably very destructive, and they blame themselves and their circumstances and they don't blame themselves. They blame the world and everybody around them for their circumstances and their problem, and because of that, they are probably very destructive. And the second person obviously dwells in a growth mindset, and they probably see obstacles and challenges as opportunities. And so they're kind of wired for growth, and they probably also believe that everything happens for them and for their highest good. And so just knowing this, just by comparing these two individuals, you can probably already understand the distinct differences within both of their realities. Like, it's funny. The truth is, they could even be living in the same home and have completely different lives because they live in completely different realities. So when you get closer to your essence, the ultimate truths you believe about yourself change. Everything changes. You see yourself more clearly because you've removed everything you've been taught to believe is true about yourself and instead become the new truth. Like, you become your own truth. Number 4, you become better acquainted entirely with your essence, your true self, and live in the frequency and energy of it. Your highest frequency is your most authentic self. And like I said earlier, your authentic self is free. It's free of everything that makes it think that it's not the most incredible expression of energy to exist, that it's not the most unique form of energy and expression that you could have. Your authenticity is the highest form of expression, and therefore it is the highest frequency. It's your universal signal. And once you radiate more of that and you move from that place, imagine what you can call into your life. So the more that you can radiate more of your essence, the more that you will receive what is truly aligned for you. Now, just as a reminder, these videos are kind of snippets from the podcast episode. So if you want to dive in deeper and hear a little more about what we talked about today, you can head to my podcast. It's available on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But until next time, be well and take care.